विचारणैकनिपुण तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं विचारणैकनिपुण तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं श्री चैतन्य कृपावरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं विचारणैकनिपुण तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं राधा कृष्ण राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ मदनामृतौ राधा कृष्ण पदारविन्दौ मदना नंदेन मत्तालिका वंदे रूप सनातनं रघुजुगौ श्री कृष्ण कीर्तन गान नतल परौ वीर वीर जनप्रिय श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ वंदे रूप सनातनं वासुदेव Sure Sitaraj Lakshmi Dharnischa Ajavadasa Jadadad Ranna Chakva Mandalasani Sada Tuchava Bhutvadinagane Sato Karunaya Chakvasudu Mandalapati Sani Sada Tuchava Bhutvadinagane Sato Karunaya Kopina Kanthasita Gopi Bhavara Samritabdalahari
Hare Krishna. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ashu, can hear you.
Okay, good. Oh, I'm on a wrong, sorry, I'm on a wrong presentation. I go back. This is for China. Sorry, I have to make a few adjustments here because I was putting a wrong preparation, a wrong presentation was for mainland China. So Hare Krishna to everyone. Good evening. Okay, my video is there. So it's all by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada that we can be here together studying this beautiful science of devotion. So Krishna. I'm trying to work with my phone and my computer at the same time. So we are eternally indebted to Srila Prabhupada because he not only taught us the science of devotion, but he also shown a very perfect example how to serve Krishna with love and devotion. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prasharine Nirvishesha Shundavari Pashatya Deshatarine. He very kindly wrote the summary, the Nectar of Devotion, the summary of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the great work on the science of loving devotion compiled by Srila Rupa Goswami. This is an incredible work of devotion, an incredible compilation, because we speak about Bhagavatam being so vast with 12 cantos, 18,000 verses. Well, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is larger than Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's only on the science of devotion. It's amazing. It's amazing work. Maybe one day we will be able to, somebody will translate and give a proper purport for the future generations to learn about all this detailed science of devotion, even in the most advanced stage. Srila Rupa Goswami, it's our main Shiksha Guru in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sampradaya. He's the one who wrote the most books on the science of devotion. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yana Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He was the leader of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. So they are all our Shiksha Gurus. That's why we, in our altars, temples, or at home, we always have a photo with the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Because they wrote so many books on the science of devotion by following the instructions, the guidance of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was actually the original teacher of this loving science of loving devotion. He purposely came to this material world to relish this pure devotion and to distribute to all of us. We are the most fortunate souls in this Kali Yuga because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna himself, decided to distribute love of God in this age of Kali. So it's an amazing gift. Mahavadhanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tveshe Namaha is the most magnanimous incarnation of the Lord. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And as we all know, he is a combination of Radha and Krishna, the highest manifestation of Prema Bhakti. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we sing one of the verses of Sad Goswamastaka. Srila Prabhupada loved very much these prayers. Nana Shastra Vicharane Kanipuno Sadharma Samstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padara Vinda Bhajana Nandena Mataliko Pande Rupa Sanatano Raguyugo Sri Jiva Gopalako Bande Rupa Sanatano Raguyugo Sri Jiva Gopalako. So we can read the translation of this verse. We offer our respectful obeisance unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, Shri Gopala Bhatt Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing, studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus they are honored all over the 3 worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of, because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. So I hope that by now, all of you, particularly the most young, already know about the names of the 6 Goswamis, because these are our divine, divine teachers. Srila Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami. Then there are 2 Raghunathas, Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami and Raghunatha Das Goswami. And there is also Gopala Bhatt Goswami and Jiva Goswami. So it's nice to memorize the name of all these 6 Goswamis. So we, as we said before, we want, we desire, we wish to achieve the highest goal in life, because this is what we are meant for, is our constitutional position to achieve love of Krishna. So this is highest goal. And there's nothing higher than that. It's much higher than liberation that most spiritualists are so interested in. So, but in order to attain this highest goal of life, pure love of Krishna, we need to first practice the process. And the process is the same as the goal, is pure devotional service. So in order to practice perfectly, we have to know very nicely what pure devotional service is. So begin with the definition. Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmadyanavritam anukulena krishnanu shilanam bhaktirutama. Okay, in this verse, the first 2 lines refers to the secondary characteristics, and the last 2 lines refers to the primary characteristics in this definition. So let's see, from the second part, the 2 last lines, what pure devotional service is. First thing is what pure devotional service is. Anyone? Kishori Radha, what pure devotional service is? First of all, it's just a good idea. Rajahamsa Prabhu, what pure devotional service is? First of all, is it just a good idea?
Pure devotional service is unmotivated and uninterrupted.
Yes, but is what? Is just an idea? It's just an idea? Something, oh, Ashu Prabhu, he told us, it's just an idea? What means, first thing, it's what? It's activity. Activity, exactly. It's an activity. Shilanam. Shilanam means activity. And it's Anushilanam. Anu means it's an activity that we perform by following our spiritual masters, our previous acharyas. The scriptures is not something that we invent. We don't create pure devotional service. The activities of devotion is something that we follow. So activities in following the previous acharyas. And this activity meant for what? To please who? Reza. To please who? Who should we please by these activities of pure devotional service? Who is the person meant to be pleased? Krishna. And Krishna alone, right? Nobody else. When we say Krishna, we mean also Kishori Radha. Who you mean also by Krishna? Because if you say it's only for Krishna, it's very exclusive. What about others? We cannot serve them, we cannot love them. What that means? Krishna. What means Krishna here? Melody. There you say something. What means Krishna in this case? Madhuri Radha, services for Krishna, pure devotion service for
Also for Krishna's avatars and his devotees.
Yes, yes, all his avatars, all his expansions, all his devotees, particularly his pure devotees, and also his holy place. Holy place, yeah, holy places also. Yeah, these are the objects of our pure loving devotion. And okay, in these two lines also, it says something else about the first characteristic of pure devotional service. So we already saw understood the main things. It's an activity by following our teachers, our devotional teachers, an activity to please Krishna, and Krishna means his incarnations, his expansion, his devotees, his holy places. And what is how this service should be accomplished? It's just by chance we serve Krishna, or there is something more specific? Moksha Lakshmi, can you help us? What kind of there's a word here, anukulyena, that means something very special. Oh, you are
Pure
very...
devotional service?
Yes. Yes. What was one of... is an activity meant to please Krishna, but it is also anukulyena. What that means, anukulyena?
Sorry.
Forgot. Kamala Radhika, you remember?
Anukulyana means without ulterior motives.
Not exactly, but very close. Very close.
Service favorable to Krishna.
Favorable, yes, favorable. Favorable has to be done with the intent, with a favorable intent to please Krishna. It's not just something that occasionally, what happens that we please Krishna, because even demons, they please Krishna by fighting with Krishna, but they are not pure devotees, certainly not. But they please Krishna, so it has to be favorable, within favorable intent. And then in a secondary, as you mentioned, Kamala, Anyabhilasha Shunyan should be without any ulterior motives. We shouldn't have not any other motive than just to please Krishna. No other material motives. Of course, in the beginning, we do have material motive. That's why in the beginning, our practice of pure devotional service is not very pure, because we carry many material motives. But eventually we will come to a stage where we'll be without any personal motive. Some desires can pop in, but are not very important. But motives that deep rooted in intent, in serving, in being, in Krishna consciousness, in serving the devotees, should be totally interest in liberation, interest in fruitive activities, or even yoga. Free from all these things means it's an activity, is a pure activity only meant to please Krishna and his devotees. So we can read the translation together. Pure devotional service is an activity intended to please Krishna, favorable, without ulterior motive, and not covered by philosophical or fruitive pursuits. Yeah, try to understand, even if you don't repeat like a parrot, at least grasp the whole meaning of pure devotional service, because at every given moment in your lives, you should know if you are practicing. We should know that if you are practicing pure devotional service or not. So this definition of pure devotional service is perfect. So we already covered the chapter 1, the characteristics of pure devotional service. And we saw the first one was a very interesting one for us. We are still suffering so much in this material world, so much material distress. And we understood that pure devotional service, the first characteristics of pure devotional service means what we are going to get by practicing seriously pure devotional service is that we become relief from material distress. And not only that, even from the causes of material distress, everything goes away. And then our lives become very auspicious, very auspicious. But it's not immediately. This is not going to happen immediately. Most of us were practicing, and maybe for many years, but we are not yet free from distress, totally free from distress. Yes, lots of it had gone, but we still disturbed by distress and suffering of all sorts. So at what stage does pure devotion, our practice of pure devotional service really develop this auspiciousness where we become totally free from suffering and the causes of suffering? Anyone remembers? Moksha Lakshmi, you remember? Jinky, you remember? At what stage in our devotional life?
In the under sadhana bhakti, in the
Yeah.
anartha nivritti, removal of
Nivriti.
offenses.
Yeah, Nivriti, yes, in
Nivriti.
our sadhana bhakti. Yes,
Removal of offenses.
yes, when we become free from offenses, we attain the stage of nishta, means already free from offenses and all unwanted habits and had misconceptions and doubts, everything removed. And our face is very steady, very, very, very steady. Now, our face sometimes is steady, sometimes is not. But will come a point, if you don't give up practicing, will come a point that our face becomes very steady because we become free from anarthas, unwanted things. Anartha nivriti, yes, you said right. Very good. So we saw that at the stage of bhava, very advanced stage, we understood that pure devotional service is very difficult to obtain. Sudurlabha, very difficult to obtain. And then we got to know that we can only attain if Krishna gives it. But there is a problem. Only if Krishna gives it, but Krishna is very reluctant to give it. Why? Why is that? Why is so difficult? Why Krishna? Why is so difficult to get it? Kandharpa, you're there. Why is so difficult? Why Krishna is reluctant to give it?
Thank you, Astro. Because Krishna will be controlled then. If,
Yeah, because it has the power to control Krishna. That's the nature of pure devotion. Look at Mother Yashoda, total control over Krishna. Well, almost total. But certainly a great power of control. And Krishna was controlled and attracted by her. So this is something we discussed also. So you saw the 3 stages. In our 3 stages of sadhana, when we practice bhava, we attain the preliminary symptoms of ecstasy and love of Krishna. And then prema, when we become really situated in a loving devotional service to the Lord, in a loving relationship with Him. So in sadhana, kleshagni, freedom from distress and the causes of distress, and subhada, attainment of auspiciousness is manifest. In bhava, Of course, the two previous ones are there. And moksha laguta kriti means we become, anybody remember? Moksha laguta kriti, what means? Madhu Gauranga, you remember? From your notes. Madhu Gauranga is there or not there? So it looks at liberation as insignificant and sudurlabha, very, very difficult to be attained. And then in prema, the four previous ones are there, and two new ones, Sandranandana Visheshatma, which means that the bliss, the happiness is so condensed that we are not even aware of any other form of happiness. It's just so thick, so condensed, and incredible. And Shri Krishna Karshini, it's the only means by which we can attract Krishna. So in prema, Krishna becomes totally attracted. So we saw in these three levels, sadhana, bhava, and prema, there is one characteristic related to happiness. So that there are 3 degrees of happiness: one experience in sadhana, one experience in bhava, and the other, sorry, one is experience in sadhana, that's shubhada, that's the first one, is experience in sadhana. Why is happiness? Because we are free from any suffering. No more suffering, nothing can cause us suffering anymore. We are fixed in our devotion to Krishna, in our practice. And then at the stage of bhava, you see, we notice, we experience that is higher than liberation. So you look at liberation as something insignificant. We are not attracted. And then the highest happiness is at the stage of prema, Sandranandana Visheshatma. Here, the happiness is so immeasurable, superior, that we cannot even perceive the existence of sense gratification or liberation. Means it does not even, we don't even perceive that. So we saw that Krishna is controlled by love. That's why is not so. It doesn't give so easy, because we have to be really very pure for Krishna to be under our control, like Mother Yashoda or the Gopas or the Gopis. They are very, very pure. So they have so much love for Krishna that Krishna allows himself to be controlled by their love. Because otherwise, we know in this world, we are all controlled by attachments. This is our main problem. We have attachments, we are controlled by them. And why we have attachments? Because we experience some pleasure in something with somebody, then we become attached to whatever gives us pleasure. So that's a normal thing. But if a person is self-satisfied, means is not attached to anyone, because he's not depending on anyone for pleasure. And in this way, a person can be independent. So only self-satisfied people, they are called Atmaramas, can remain detached, means because they are self-sufficient, self-satisfied. And because they are detached, they are independent. And this is the nature of Krishna. Krishna is totally independent, totally detached. So why we say that Krishna is controlled by love then? I mean, why is controlled by Srimati Radharani? Okay, that's a high level question. I'm gonna ask Kishori Radha, see if she can explain to us why Krishna is controlled and attracted by Srimati Radharani if he is self-satisfied. Kishori Radha. Lalita, could you answer this question? Why Krishna, being self-satisfied, is attracted, is controlled by Shrimati Radharani? You are Lalita Sundari. You should know the mood of Shrimati Radharani.
Why I'm how to say, I'm not exactly know the answer. I only
Okay.
can say is because Radharani, she is I don't know how to say.
Try, because you at least you connected. Try. I think you know that it's Krishna's own.
Because Krishna is want to through his internal energy to experience.
Yes, you said it. You said it. See, I know it's difficult for you to express in English when it comes to philosophy. Yes, exactly. Because Shrimati Radharani is Krishna's internal potency, is his own heart, his own self. So he manifested that form of Shrimati Radharani so Krishna can have exchanges. It's just because of that. Otherwise, Krishna is one. Like Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is one. But we know he is Radha and Krishna. But his appearance is just in one form. That's the original form, Krishna. So Krishna expand himself, manifests his internal energy as Shrimati Radharani, and has loving exchanges with us. So love is part of the internal potency of Krishna. Love, prema bhakti, is coming from Shrimati Radharani. That's why we call Shrimati Radharani first. Hare. That's Shrimati Radharani, because she's the one who possesses love of Krishna. So Krishna is controlled by his own internal potency. There's nothing wrong with that. He remains self-satisfied because Radharani is Krishna's own self. So that's very esoteric, or at least somehow esoteric. It's not so easy to understand because we don't have that type of self-potency that we can feel satisfied within. But Krishna has that. Krishna manifests his own pleasure potency. So he becomes attached and controlled by his own pleasure potency. So he's not controlled or attracted to anything external. So this shows that the pure devotional service is so powerful that Krishna becomes attracted. That's why if we develop pure loving devotional service, which is a manifestation of Shrimati Radharani, Krishna becomes attracted to our loving devotional service. It's the only way. So at the stage of Bhava, Krishna is already giving love to his devotees, and the devotee start beginning to attract Krishna in a stage of Bhava. And sometimes even in the stage of sadhana, because in a stage of sadhana, sometimes a devotee can perform incredible sacrifice, incredible acts of love for Krishna, even if it's not on a regular basis, but sometimes they can. So they can have a little experience of bhava or prema, little. So at that time, Krishna becomes already attracted by the devotee. But at the stage of prema, yes, at the stage of prema, Krishna is totally controlled and attracted by his devotees, because the devotee enters in Krishna's pastimes. He has a loving relationship with Krishna, so they are with Krishna. So in that loving relationship, the devotee totally control and attracts Krishna, and Krishna attracts and controls his devotees, is a reciprocation. So that's the beauty of love of Krishna. It's just Rupa Goswami giving us a hint of what is waiting for us, because in the beginning he's not going to speak about Prema Bhakti or Bhava Bhakti. He's going to speak about Sadhana Bhakti, the first stages of devotion. The first stage, because that's where we are. We are on the first stages. So we're going to see the qualification for practicing pure devotion service. So after having described the characteristics, what can be found in devotional service, what you can obtain by practice devotional service, now is talking about the qualification to practice it, because we need to have some qualification. So does anyone have an idea of what qualification were you talking? What kind of qualification you require to begin practicing pure devotional service? Madhuri Radha, do you remember? Do you have an idea what is required to what is the qualification that we need to begin practicing pure devotional service? We have to go to university. We have to take a PhD in religion, in science of devotional service. What do we have to do in order to qualify ourselves to practice the pure devotional service? Well, Srila Rupa Goswami, he says something very astounding. Attraction to devotional service is it's our qualification to begin practicing it. If we just have an attraction for it, then we are qualified to begin practicing. That's how we began. We were attracted. We met the devotees, or we met Srila Prabhupada's book, or saw the devotee on Harinam, went to a program. We became attracted. We don't even know why we became attracted. And maybe we went with other people and they were not attracted, but we became attracted to the point that we start associating and we start practicing. And here we are, hearing Nectar of Devotion, because we had an attraction. And where this attraction came from, because we got attracted, and so many other people who met the devotees, who met Krishna consciousness, and so many, and they don't become attracted immediately. Why? And we became attracted. Are we more qualified? Were we already very advanced? Maybe some of us, we're already searching for really a spiritual movement like this, a spiritual practice like this. I wasn't personally, and I know many devotees, they weren't. They were not really serious seekers of spiritual life, but they became attracted. They became attracted. And why they became attracted? Well, because they already practice in maybe previous lives. They already practice. Yeah, they already did some practice. And now in this lifetime, they become attracted, naturally attracted, because they already have done some practice. And why they did practice? Why they practice in the past? Why they practice in the past? Because they had an attraction. Oy. Now we have what you call a circular reasoning. In order to begin practicing devotional service, we need to have already practiced in the past. And in order to have practice in the past means we had an attraction for it. And to have an attraction means we already have practice. And it goes around. Where does it begin? Where does it begin? How and when does devotional service begin? It begins by the causeless mercy of another devotee who has bhakti. That's how we become attracted by the causeless mercy of a devotee. Bhakti is given by those who have bhakti. Sometimes the mercy we have received from a devotee was not even, we didn't even notice. We didn't even notice. I always like to give my own example. I was a little dog strolling in the street in my previous life. And one devotees were doing Harinam. I noticed the devotees doing Harinam, and I was attracted by the noise. And then some devotee tossed me a piece of prasadam. And here I practice. Unknowingly, I practice. Why I practice? This is called Agyata Sukriti. I practice because taking prasada is devotional service. I heard the holy name is devotional service. Did I know what was happening? I was a little dog. I didn't know anything. But I practice what is called Agyata Sukriti. Agyata means without knowing. I got that type of devotional piety in my heart, because it was me, the individual soul, in the body of a dog, in the heart of a dog. So I was there as a spiritual soul. So I got that particular sukriti, that particular piety, devotional piety. Then in the next life, I became a human being. I had more opportunity to do some devotional service, and again, without even knowing, taking more prasad, we hear more the holy name, maybe attending a program, but not showing much interest. But gradually, this devotional piety in the heart start growing, and eventually we become attracted to practice it. And this can take many lifetimes to happen. We don't know how long it took for any one of us. Or maybe we just got the mercy. Just like that, a very special mercy, like Narayana Muni. Narayana Muni is an expert to give a very special mercy to the most unqualified people. Yes, Mrigari. Mrigari was a horrible hunter, horrible in the sense that he was not just killing to have the animals and eat them up, but he was half killing them to let them agonizing, suffering, so horrible. And he was experienced pleasure in that. Just can imagine how can a person experience pleasure in seeing the poor animals agonizing to death. Horrible. But Narada Muni gave him a mercy. It touched his heart. And Mrigari, this hunter, horrible hunter, in a very short time, he became a pure devotee. Our Srila Prabhupada did the same to many souls. I remember a story with Guru Kripa. Guru Kripa was collecting in Japan for the construction of Krishna Balaram Mandir. He had a team of devotees, and they were collecting so much money. And Srila Prabhupada was so satisfied, so happy, because they were contributing enormous for the construction of the temple and the Gurukula. And one time Guru Kripa told Srila Prabhupada his own life. He said, I don't remember having any piety in my previous life, because in this life, before I came to Krishna consciousness, I certainly have no piety. I was in the Vietnam War. I was killing with a machine gun. I was killing civilians. It was horrible. Now when I think back, it was horrible what I was doing. And I was feeling kind of a little pleasure in doing that. So how come you say you need to have some Agyata Sukriti, some devotional piety from previous life? I don't see any piety even in this life. And Srila Prabhupada told him, don't worry, I created your piety. So yes, great devotees like Narada Muni, Srila Prabhupada, and so many other great Vaishnavas have this potency of creating immediately the qualification, or creating that sukriti, that piety that endows a person to become attracted to devotional service immediately or in a very short time. Srila Prabhupada did that with so many devotees who were so fallen, beginning with myself, so fallen, but somehow Srila Prabhupada touched our hearts and we became attracted to pure devotional service. It's amazing, but it's a fact. In order to begin devotional service, in order to have an attraction, to have a taste for devotional service, you have to become committed. We have to start cultivating our practice. When we are attracted, then we start cultivating, like what we are doing now. We became attracted, and now we are committed to cultivate practice of devotional service. But to receive the causeless mercy, there is no qualification required. There is no qualification required, because that's what means causeless mercy, is distributed without any cause, okay, I'm giving to this person because he's a good person, I'm not giving to that one. No. Pure devotees don't make such discrimination. Who is qualified, is not qualified. They give to everyone. Otherwise, how we would have, Srila Prabhupada would have attracted devotees who are so fallen, such a degraded background. Even the most pious persons who join Krishna consciousness, I mean, pious in a material sense. Otherwise, they were attracted to many sinful activities. Kali Yuga people, individual souls, the conditioned souls have no qualification for devotional service, spiritual life. So that qualification was certainly given by the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And in the Bhagavatam, you see many cases of Narada Muni. Prahlad Maharaj, born from a demon, and he gave him a mercy, became such a wonderful, great devotee. Bali Maharaj was a demon. So there is no qualification required to receive the causeless mercy. That's why we, as representatives of pure devotees, we are meant to also distribute that mercy to everyone and anyone, regardless of their qualification. And once they receive that causeless mercy, their devotional life has begun, even though they might not be yet attracted from the beginning. Sometimes devotees feel discouraged because they preach, and there is no much result, or just a few people who join, and they preach to so many people, and then they try to be nice with them. But no, don't worry. Agyata Sukriti is already planted in their hearts. It means that unknowing practice of devotional service already began, because they heard the name of Krishna, they took prasad, probably they got a book, or they became attracted to devotees, something. So their devotional life is already have begun, but in an unknowing way, until eventually they will become attracted, either in this lifetime or next lifetime. We don't know. Only Krishna knows. So spiritual advancement is eternal, means whatever we do, even unknowingly, it's going to progress, it's going to progress. Once we are in touch with Krishna through the process of devotional service, even unknowingly, we are already making advancement. So means Krishna is going to give us more and more opportunities to do devotional service until we become really committed, become attracted and really committed, like most of us are, to practice devotional service. We want to become pure devotees. We are already in that path. So this attraction to Krishna is gained from previous advancement in devotional service, and it remains there in one's heart. And eventually in the future, they will seek the association of devotees. They start to take into the practice of devotional service. And if they already practiced seriously devotional service in the past and they didn't complete, then they come and they are immediately attracted. They immediately start practicing in a very nice way. You notice, we all notice that devotees coming to Krishna consciousness, they begin at different levels. They are not all beginning in the same level, even though in the beginning we're going to teach them the basics, but immediately you're going to notice some people advance very fast, very fast. Why? Because they already have done devotional service seriously in previous lives. So they pick up from where they left. So there are different levels of advancement for anyone who comes in contact with Krishna consciousness society. So we see all over the world some devotees, from the very young, from the very beginning, manifesting symptoms of being so advanced. And some of us, we are there after so many years, and we're still endeavoring, struggling, to do the minimum. So it's because it's something already done in the past. So the qualification for sadhana bhakti, highest qualification, it depends on how much taste, how much attraction we have for the practice of Krishna consciousness. So the most pronounced is the taste, the attraction, the greater is the qualification. I put a picture about Vishnu Jana Swami. He was certainly one of those persons who had already practiced pure devotional service in previous life, because he was just so how could a new devotee go on the streets for 8 hours banging the mridanga, chanting Hare Krishna without stopping, practically speaking? Amazing, because had already a very pronounced taste for devotional service, came from previous lives. So devotion, advancement in Krishna consciousness is not based on any intellectual abilities we might have, being smarter, more educated, or this or that. It has nothing to do any material qualifications. We can be a person who don't even know how to read and write, how to do the basic things, but we can advance very fast in Krishna consciousness if you follow properly. So that the main thing is taste for hearing about Krishna. If the person has taste to hear about Krishna, taste to hear the holy names, to chant the holy name, then that person has the qualification for devotional service, is very qualified. Srila Prabhupada said it, somebody comes to the temple, joins in the temple, and the only thing he wants to do is just be seated there in the temple and chant Hare Krishna all day long. Srila Prabhupada told the devotees, let him do that, and just serve him prasada during the meals. Let him just do that, because such a soul is very rare. A person who really has a taste for chanting the holy name for hours and hours is very rare. very, very rare. And this was our Vishnu Jana Swami was like that. Amazing person. Amazing person. We have many, quite many devotees at this level. From the very beginning, they have a strong attachment to hear about Krishna, to chant Hare Krishna, to render devotional service, no matter what service is. You see here, Maharaj Parikshit, he was so eager to hear about Krishna, so eager that he forgot to eat, he forgot to drink, he forgot to sleep for 7 days, 7 nights. He forgot, he was so absorbed. And the same for Shukadev Goswami, he was so absorbed speaking about Krishna that he forgot his needs, physical needs. So these are very rare cases, of course. So Srila Prabhupada mentions for persons who have a natural taste for understanding books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, devotional service is easier than for those who are simply accustomed to mental speculation, argumentative process. So we stop here for today. We go slowly. We don't need to rush. So we don't need to overeating, and then we have time to have difficult to digest everything. So better go by increments and try to digest, to assimilate what we have learned. So now it's up to you. If you have any questions, we still have some time. If you have any questions or any reflections or any comments or something that I missed to say, and you perhaps you could add it, would be wonderful. Wonderful. So please don't be shy. We are in a small room. We are not many, only 16 persons. So it is a very cozy, very intimate gathering, even though, and it's virtual, which makes it even easier if you are shy. So just turn on your microphone and share something. I'm going to check the chat if there is anything on the chat. This is from Raja Hamsa. My senior god brother mentioned that the worst thing you can do to a devotee is to remove him from the engagement. Did Srila Prabhupada do that? Did Srila Prabhupada mention that? Well, the worst thing you can do to a devotee is to remove him from the engagement. No. Srila Prabhupada himself, he removed some of his senior devotees from their particular service, but he gave them some other assignment. Nobody has the right to remove you from the engagement in devotional service. No, nobody has the right to do that, because this is your rightful inheritance. You have the right to perform devotional service because you are constitutionally a servant of the Lord. So you should not be deprived of devotional service, but you can be removed from one particular engagement to be engaged in another particular engagement. Means maybe removed from an engagement that you like very much to do something that you maybe don't like as much, but maybe the authority, the spiritual master think that you are more qualified to do that service and you are able to sacrifice, then you can do. Srila Prabhupada did that with many of his senior devotees and moved them from one position to another because they knew they could do, and Srila Prabhupada knew better, had the better strategy how to push the society, how to push the movement in a very proper way. So he moved the devotees from different places in their services, but did not remove them from devotional service, certainly not. Only we ourselves can be removed from devotional service, not Krishna, not the devotees. No, the devotees want us to always be serving. But in which capacity? Yes, it's up to the authority of the temple or spiritual master to see what is the best engagement. Maybe the engagement you have is not the best. Maybe you could be doing something else better. So they can change. They can change your service, yes. But nobody can remove you from pure devotional service. Only you yourself can be removed from devotional service by deciding not to practice or not to follow anymore. That is our prerogative, our free will, but nobody can remove you, no. Any other question or comment? We continue. Yes, yes.
My question is, if I didn't reach the Prema Bhakti, I cannot go back to Krishna?
No. We have reached the stage of pure love of Krishna. Even if you don't attain complete perfection, as we mentioned last time, if Srila Prabhupada at one time in a conversation, he was saying with the devotee, yes, you have to become 100% perfect to go back to Krishna. Means to attain perfection means prema bhakti. And the devotee said, Prabhupada, 100%, how can we attain 100%? And Prabhupada said, okay, 90%. And then even 90%, the devotee were talking amongst themselves, said, Prabhupada, even 9%, how can we attain 90% of perfection? We began from such a low class. Prabhupada said 80%, at least 80%. And then they went for a walk, and the devotee was still talking, and then somebody dared to say, Prabhupada, we think that 80%, to reach 80% is still a lot. Prabhupada said, okay, 70%, not less. It means that if you at least achieve 70% of perfection in Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada will make up for the other 30% that we miss. But we have to be completely pure to enter in the spiritual world. Completely pure means having attained pure love of Krishna, to enter in a loving relationship with Krishna. So don't be disappointed, because that can happen in a very short time. In a very short time. Something can happen in your life that you totally change your heart, and you start concentrating more what is the most important to please Guru and Krishna. And you can, in a very short time, close the gap that you have between now and perfection. It can be very quick, as it can take long lifetimes. But even if it takes lifetimes, never mind, because whatever progress we'll make will never be lost. So we'll have always opportunity in the next life. But it's better we project, or you plan to make it in this lifetime. Try the best to make it in one lifetime. 70%, see, Prabhupada covers the rest of the 30%. So at least 70%. So if for some reason we don't achieve that 70%, then we'll have opportunity in the next life, because we are going to begin next life from where we left in this life. So nothing is lost in devotional service. Nothing is lost. But it's better to project, to plan, to really attain at least this minimum Srila Prabhupada mentioned, 70%. Because in this way, we will be more motivated. If you start thinking, oh, I'm very fallen, I will not make it in this lifetime, this is might be very detrimental. It means we lose the impetus, we miss the inspiration to go farther because next life, and then next life you may do the same. I'm not ready. Maybe next life, and then we stay life after life, reasoning in the same way. So it's better we decide. No, I'm going to try really my best to achieve at least 70%. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and my spiritual masters, I'm going to try, and the devotees, I'm going to try my best. But yes, we need to become 100% pure, even though, as Srila Prabhupada gave us a special bonus, we can achieve at least 70%, and he will make up for the other 30%, which means that we will achieve 100% before going back to Krishna. Pure loving devotion, because that's what is there in the spiritual world. You have to be at that level to join Krishna's pastimes when he's in the material world performing his pastimes. You're going to join him there, and you're going to learn with his eternal associates how to serve in your particular rasa, and then after that particular pastime in a material world, you go back, you resume your position in the spiritual world.
Thank you for that hope.
Haribo, Hare Krishna. So we have to help each other to endeavor for at least 70%. Don't feel discouraged. We are not alone. We are practicing together. Even if distance are there, we are actually together, all devotees in the world. We are all doing the same thing, trying to serve the same Supreme Lord according to our, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, following the same method, the same process. So we can inspire each other even at distance. We can inspire each other. Okay. Anybody else? Madhu Goranga, you were very silent today. I didn't ask anything to Shama Sundari because she's already graduated in Nectar of Devotion. Moksha Lakshmi, okay, there. Madhuri Radha, Melody. Okay. Okay, so continue reading from the second chapter, and you can start beginning in the third chapter. They are not so long. To have a good preview of what we discuss. We may not discuss all the points there, but the main things will be discussed and be presented. So we have a fair, good understanding of what is to be done. What is to be done to become pure devotees of the Lord. Jai, Sheila, let's find the photos. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Rupa Goswami ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari 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 Bo.